Hey there, Facebook land. It is Amy Lequier here with Champion Dentist, and I wanted to welcome you to another weekly Practice Fuel where we talk about different things that we struggle with in the dental office, and we do a quick lesson, a little tips and tricks to help you, and we like to know what you are struggling with. So as you're going through your day, and you think of something like, oh man, I would really love some tips and tricks on this, some advice, some guidance, leave some comments below and we will bring that to our next Practice Fuel. So let us know what you're wanting to hear and we're happy to communicate that with you. So this is a hot topic. This is something that we all struggle with in the dental office and in whatever business realm you're in, is team retention, right? Team retention. So how do we go through and help to retain our team without constantly, going through that, when they ask for raises, what do we do about that? Our team wants to, get a raise, and maybe they ask for it, maybe they don't ask for it, but you see on their screen that they've been looking at Indeed posts. What about the times when, you feel some tension in the air, you're not really sure what's going on as a business owner or as an associate, as a leader in the practice? What are some things that we hear our team saying that maybe we're thinking that they might be looking elsewhere, even though they're a great employee, they love the office? What does get into an employee's mind where they start looking for another position? So that is a hot topic across all industries, is how do we motivate our team? How do we not constantly give raises when they're going on Facebook pages or looking at different platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram and seeing other people post about what they're doing and how much money they're making and all of that. So here's a couple things that I want to go over with you today. So in the dental industry, one of our hardest things is our schedule and maintaining a schedule and motivating the team when we're super busy. We're kind of in the whirlwind, what the day is like, and next thing you know, it's the end of the day and we just had a whirlwind of a day. Or it could go in the other direction where there's not much going on and we're stressed out because we want to make payroll and there's just not patients coming through the door today. So it's sometimes, all or nothing, right? Feast or famine. So what do we do? One thing is we have regular team meetings. And I know, they can be boring. We say the same things all the time. And honestly, team meetings should be effective and relevant. And we look forward to them because we want to communicate on how we can improve the practice. So one thing is when you have that team meeting, we have an agenda, we make sure that we have some sort of activity that engages the team. So team retention starts by understanding how each employee is motivated differently. So when we think about pay raises, we think about, our team retention as well. Think about, money only. And really that's not everybody's motivating factor. Sometimes it is, they really want to understand their purpose behind what they're doing. I've worked in public health before, and when you're in public health, you do make less money overall per hour. Now you may get really great benefits, but the purpose and fulfillment that you feel with helping someone, to me, is really goes beyond anything that I could make per hour. It really is a benefit. Now, obviously, you have to be paid fair enough where your wage is not so low that you're skimping by, but you want to make sure that the industry standard, that you understand what the industry standard is as an employee and as an employer. So sometimes I see hygienists post in these different forums that they want an increase in pay, and they're really already at the top tier in their industry. So how do we know what our I don't want to say worth is, because it goes beyond that hourly. So our experience, our expertise, our communication level, our emotional intelligence, all of those things factor into who we are as an employee and, how we function as a team member and create that team dynamic and team culture together. So getting back to the team meeting. So when you have that team meeting, build in an activity that is understanding who your team is. What motivates you? Because if we make the assumption that everybody's motivated by money, then that's the wrong assumption, because not everybody's motivated by money. And we want to ask them straight out. So do an activity, what I like to call team talk. And so this team talk is where we write down different questions, and one would be, for example, what were you like in high school? That's a little kind of get to know you thing. You interview your employee, your coworker, and then you guys talk about who you are. And one thing you say is, what motivates you? How if I was to compensate you, what would you want? Would you want that in, Snickers bars? Would you want that in movie tickets? Would you want that in, financial gain, in your hourly pay? Would you want new scrubs? So sometimes it's the small things that really matter that build up over time. So the second thing is as a leader, if you're a leader in the practice, understanding your communication style and how it compares with your team members' communication style. Because the ones that are most like you're going to connect with, and those team members, you're going to have that almost telepathic way of communicating, right? You understand each other, it makes sense. And then you get the team members that you don't necessarily understand as much because your styles are different, your communication styles are different. So understanding what those communication style strengths and differences are. And again, in that team talk conversation, you can say, what motivates you? Another question could be, how do you like to be communicated with? Do you like direct communication? Because some people do. Do you want, feedback given to you in a certain way? Do you want an email? Do you like a text message? Do you want a phone call? And so understanding how they want to be communicated with, because, most of us have heard about the golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. Well, the platinum rule is to treat others how they would want to be treated. So when we understand that we're trying to build relationships with our team, with our employees, employers, to best have that culture that is built on success, fulfillment, purpose, and really helps the patients to thrive at your practice, refer others, it really is a snowball effect. If you have a happy team, then you're going to get happy patients. They're going to feel comfortable when they come to you, and they're going to refer other people there. If you have a team that has tension and really isn't, happy there, are they giving their all? No, they're definitely not. So what we want to make sure is that we understand what motivates them, what are their communication styles that they prefer, what are their strengths, and what are their weaknesses. So, most of us throughout our lives, as we go through life, we learn certain things that we're good at and certain things that come naturally or that we've learned over time, and then certain things where it's just not our strength zone. And so when we start putting employees in positions that aren't their strength zone, they don't thrive, and then they feel like maybe that they're being sabotaged, they feel like they're not being successful, and they're not able to give their all. So understanding what motivates a team member, what communication style they like, and what their strengths and weaknesses are, so that you can put them in a position where they're going to be set up for success. So, if you have somebody answering the phone who really is an ultimate introvert and doesn't really want to be on the phone, maybe that person, we have them calling insurance companies and verifying insurance, where you're still on the phone, but you don't have to have that smiley, friendly face, and you get someone who's more extroverted, more outgoing on the phone as the face of a practice when someone calls in. So when we're trying to retain team members, I want you to think about, it's not only about a pay raise. Now, with that being said, dentistry is known notoriously for going years and years and years without a pay increase. My suggestion is that you get a structure and that you follow that structure so that you're aware of what is my production, what is my collections, what is my profit and loss statement, so you understand at least a small fraction of what the business side of dentistry is. And then as you build on to that business side, you understand, when is it appropriate to give raises based on the profitability of the practice. And letting your team know the vision of the practice so they can get involved in the success of the practice and into the way to, so maybe I don't get a pay increase, but how can I get a bonus? What is the impact that I can personally do in the practice to increase the profitability so that in effect that increases my potential to get more money? Because there are people who are motivated by money, and that's great too. So giving those people the opportunities and saying, hey, here's a bonus incentive. Here's how we're going to increase that profit. And sometimes it's a matter of complimenting them, but saying something specific. So we all know if you compliment, say, oh, great job. I mean, that's okay. It's more effective. You say, you know what, I really, really, really appreciated it when you did XYZ. So when you helped that patient, that elderly patient, fill out their medical history form, that was amazing. That went above and beyond. So when we take that behavior that we see and we give them kudos on it, it's repeatable. They keep doing it. So when we are talking about bonus systems, when we are talking about those structures, we absolutely have those to help you. So if you reach out to us, if you comment and you reach out to me, reach out to Champion Dentist, we can help you with those bonus structures that make sense for your practice. So we'll customize it and we'll make sure that you understand first and foremost, like what's an effective team meeting. 2, when should we be adding more team members? Because sometimes we're overstaffed, sometimes we're understaffed, and that puts stresses on the practice in either direction. Sometimes you just don't have the structure of compensation. So I love a feedback forum so that there's actually no surprise when a team member knows how they're doing. So it's not like, they have a performance evaluation. They have no idea that, they were really good at this or, slacking on that. So it's a feedback forum where a team member should always really know how well they're doing in the practice and should never really have to guess that. Say, what are my expectations? I have no idea. I don't really know what my job description is. And so helping with the job descriptions, helping to understand who they are in your practice and the practice culture. And you know what? Sometimes a person's just not the right fit, and that's okay too. We try it out, we coach them, we say, you know what? Maybe this isn't the right fit for you, and they go somewhere else and it's a great fit. Sometimes we keep people on too long, and sometimes we don't coach them long enough and we give up too quick. So we can help in all of that. We are here to help you. That's what we thrive to do, is to really engage your team and to help guide you and be an advocate so that your success is also the team's success. So next week we will be back for our next practice fuel. I hope you enjoyed listening to this, and if you have other comments and questions, topics that you want us to discuss, comment and we will get to it. All right. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.